This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, just full disclosure. So did either of you have an opportunity to go through the pre-work packet?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, good. Have you had a chance to look at it, Tiffany?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share our screen. There's Venus. And I'm gonna go to, let's see here.
Candace, you're still feeling crappy?
Yeah, I finally got medicine Monday from the doctor, but still hanging on.
What
Are
they
you
give
coming?
you?
Just some amoxicillin.
Are you coming
Yeah.
tonight?
I don't know. I was hoping I'd be feeling better today. So I don't know if I'm still contagious. It's the problem. I don't want
doubt
to spread this nonsense to you guys. I hope not. I wouldn't think so, but yeah, I'm still exhausted. So I'm playing it by
Well,
ear.
just let me know because I'll bring your gifts that you got.
Okay. Okay. Let's see how the day
Well,
goes.
I'm sorry to hear that it's hanging on. I think I have the right screen to share now. So this is the pre-work packet that you got. And so as we went through, there's several sections that I have you work on in advance, but you very likely didn't have a chance to complete everything. And so there will be some going forward that you'll want to do. Working on Big Why, your personal strategic plan, and that's really your goals, your personal goals, your core values, mission statement, the success wheel, which I want to talk about because I'm going to offer some one-on-one coaching that has to do with the success program, and I'm able to do that in our organization without forcing you into the success process and the payments there. So that is something that I can offer you. Then your 2022 accomplishments, your 2023 life goals, your previous year's success, and then overcoming obstacles. And so just as you go through this, I want to talk a little bit about this success wheel. You may have had the opportunity to see this many times for different companies. This one is just a little bit different because it breaks down each of these sections into two different sections. And so I just tell you a little bit about this as we go through this program. So we start at like high noon, so at purpose. And so you're looking at the spirituality, and that's very subjective, can mean different things to different people. And so really it is whatever it means to you. And you rate yourself 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. So the next one, growth and learning, that is really important to rate yourself on both the learning, but also the execution. So if you learn new things and you're really great at implementing them, you would score yourself higher. If you feel like you need work in that area, you'd go lower. Health and fitness is also very subjective. It depends on what your expectations are and how you rate yourself. Fun and recreation is you rate it solely for the purpose of fulfillment and recreation. So that is how you rate yourself. If you haven't been taking any time for yourself to just have fun, do something that you've never done before, your rate may be pretty low there. And that's something that you have to look at. Love, now this is really important. That isn't just your love life. This is how are you at offering love, but also receiving love. And that is something that we don't necessarily think about when we think about how we are at accepting other people loving us. So that's how you rate yourself there. Family and friends, again, it's who you're surrounded by, your closest relationships. You're rating your current relationships there, how you feel about those. And this can be really a tough area because a lot of times we define ourselves by the relationships that we have. So thinking about this is really important. Environment, that's where you are, where you're working, is it giving you, is your environment giving you energy, or is it zapping you? You know, an example, like if you have to go down into a dark basement that you just really don't enjoy your time there, then that's going to zap your energy, and you would rate that really low. So you would want to find a better environment to support you. Your community is where you want to be involved. It's you know, how you feel like you're giving back and how your community is you know, serving you. And then work and money and finance. So people often think of work as the same as money and finance, and it's not at all. So think about your work. Do you like what you do? When you are doing what you do you watch the clock? You know, that's one way to really measure whether you like what you're doing or you don't. Or do you really love what you're doing? Rate yourself really high. If you think you need change there and you don't love what you do in your job, daily activities, then you'd rate yourself pretty low, and we would want to work on that. Money and finance obviously is also subjective. Some people have a really low rating if they don't have 6 months in the bank. Some people have a really high rating if they know where their next paycheck is coming from. So it really does depend on how you feel about it. So when you do this and go through this, what I would like to do is have an opportunity to do some one-on-one coaching with you to find out areas where you can raise your rating. So if you rate yourself a 2 or 3, let's say, for example, in health and fitness, what would it take to get you up to the next level, to a 4 or 5? And so those are the types of things we talk about in coaching. And you look at your will when you've rated yourself, and most people don't have a round will. Most people have some bumps in some places, and that can create bumps in our life. So that is that some ongoing opportunity that we have here. So any questions on the success wheel? Okay, awesome. So the rest of your pre-work packet is your accomplishments, looking back on 2022, and then looking forward, some of the life goals that you have for this year. If you have a word for your year, a lot of people, and I think Jack Canfield does a whole thing on word for the year. My word for this last year was fruitful. And I chose that because I felt like I needed to bring more joy and kindness and gentleness into my relationships. And so it actually, I think that I've done well this year with that. So if you have a word going forward, my word for 2023 is faith. And the reason I chose that word is because whether you want peace, joy, kindness, excuse me, whatever you want in your life, if you're putting, like I put my faith in God to help me through all types of challenges in my life. And what I know is that I can get through those challenges better when my faith is stronger. So that is my word for the year. And so think about what's important to you, your word for the year. Excuse me. My goodness, not itchy throat. Okay. Next on our list, tracking. This is how you did, where your business came from last year. Most of us are going to see a large portion in the VIP area. Probably about 50 to 80% of your business is going to come out of that first category. Would you agree with that, Venus? Yeah. So, and your sphere of influence, people you know. So a lot of what we're focusing on is really, really taking good care of those VIP people, because your top 50, it's a huge area where you get your business. So a lot of our business plan is going to deal with that. And there's a lot of other ways that we get business. These are pillars, typical pillars. And you can, if you have different things, you can fill those in differently. But this pretty much covers everything if you have different areas of work. Okay, so then overcoming obstacles, and you know in your life what your obstacles are. So whether that's time management, or it's financial management, or it's just, family and things that come up in your life, you know what those obstacles are, and having a plan to overcome some of those things that you know might come up will really help you when that happens, because it will, it will happen. So I'm going to stop sharing that for a little bit. So that's the pre-work. And so if you didn't have a chance to work on on all of those things, that's okay. It's ongoing. I just think that those are really important to talk about before you're doing your business plan for the next year. So let's go ahead and dive into the business plan itself. And I'm going to bring that one up. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again with business plan. There we go. Okay. Business plan for 2023. First page on here is mission, vision, values, beliefs, perspective. And so that is something that you work on. What is your mission as an individual? You run a company. So whether you have a team and you're doing a team mission, or you're just for your individual business, your mission is the focus of your business activities and how it applies to your clients. And your vision is what it looks like when you get there. So those are exercises, and there are a lot of things that will take you through. In fact, some of the stuff that we, now let's see here, in your pre-work packet, there are some pages that I am going to send you, because I don't think that they were put into your group. So when you talk about personal strategic plan, I'm going to, after this class, I'm going to send you the pages to work on that are they're out of the Workman series. So it's what you want to achieve in your business in 5 years, what you want to achieve in your life in 5 years, and in your business in 1 year. Then moving on to what do you want to achieve in your life, and then in your business in 6 months, and your life in 6 months. So
Hey, Heidi.
Yeah.
Candace and Tiffany have done the strategic planning already.
Oh,
From
awesome.
Workman. So yeah, so they have some pre-work for that.
That's awesome. And so what about Tiffany? Has she had?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Then you guys already know this stuff, and I don't need to send it to you. But this is an example of why I'm not doing this outside our organization yet, is because I need to put all of these pieces in one nice, succinct little piece. But you already have them, so you know where to focus. And those things really help you when it comes to doing your mission and vision and your plan, knowing those strategic plans. So this is where I want to do a little bit of discussion on the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, so I'm going to bring up a different screen here so we can talk about this for a little bit. Let's see, so where am I? It's weird how you have to stop sharing in order to find something to reshare. It's like, I don't know why it does that. It drives me crazy, but that's okay. It will be fine. Here we go. Okay. So I will share this with you, and we'll talk about some of these things. So understanding where we are in our business. So and in our life. So some of the strengths that we have, what your personal advantages, but think about, like, what are some of the advantages we have with being with EXP?
I have a list.
I do too. What are some that you would put there, Venus?
I think the constant training, the support that we get. You don't have to chase people down to get answers. You just hop in the world. I think that's a huge benefit. I mean, obviously, stock for people that are selling properties, but when you're learning and you're training and you're trying to get to where you go, I think that the ultimate value is how much the people in EXP pour into the other people.
Yeah, that I think is really a huge value, and something that may be overlooked because people think they get more support if there's bricks and mortar, but that just isn't true at all. I think it may be the other way around, that people really have to focus when they have such high overhead that they really have to focus on that part of the business rather than their agents. So I think low overhead is one of the advantages of our company. No, it really does help, especially during a recession, to not have huge monthly bills to pay. What about the boundaries or lack of boundaries that we have as far as just being able to grow our business in so many directions? I love that. I love that about our company. What are some other strengths that you might have as an individual? Anybody want to share something that you bring to the table, to your business right now?
I'll go with
I think
the easy
so.
button.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just my background.
And tell us a little bit more about that.
I have 25 years of the mortgage operations back end knowledge. So it puts all of the pieces together.
Well, that's huge. And especially when mortgage is sort of one of the challenges that we're dealing with, interest rates and mortgage challenges right now. So that's huge. So you probably have heard of and have experience with buy downs and balloons and arms and all these types of products that a lot of people may not know about right now. So the advantage there is that when your clients talk with you, you have options that you can talk about. And it's really important too to have somebody that's really good at talking about those options in your toolbox. And I know we have several really good people. Experience. What are some others? So Venus, you were going to mention something that you bring.
Oh no, I was throwing Tiffany under the bus.
Oh, well, okay. Well, you know what I think also is flexibility. Now, that is something that we bring to the table because we know in this business we have to be flexible, and so when the market changes, we have learned how to make adjustments and change in those opportunities as well. Support of the team, I think, is a huge advantage. Our organization, I think, is a great advantage. So if we want help, we have other people that we can reach out to. So, you know, if as far as like contract knowledge, or just somebody needs some help showing a property or maybe an open house, we have each other, which is a really nice advantage that we have. So the strengths, I think it's really, it's a long list. We have a lot of strengths. And so what about some of our weaknesses? So let's talk a little bit about weaknesses. What are some things that we can improve? Do anybody have any input there?
I think what I've learned in my career is narrowing my focus. I think it's so easy to be like, oh, that's working for them, so I'm going to do that. And that's working for them, so we're going to add that too. And then never being really good at your top 4 or your 5 or even 6, but really narrowing that focus to what works for you. And, you know, going back to your pre-homework, looking at, you know, and granted, Tiffany and Candace don't have a whole lot of prior year success. I mean, they're experiencing good things right now, but they're just starting. So they don't have years of data to reflect on. But when you do, you can be like, okay, well, where is my business coming from and how can I go deeper on those, as opposed to, oh, now I'm going to add this and this and this because those people all said that's going to work. And I think that is a major weakness, is there is so many different ideas and tools and things you can buy. But if you could just really focus on your strengths and live there by recognizing your weaknesses.
That's so well said. And it's easy to follow the shiny penny. And that's one of the wonderful things about when we plan and we choose those pillars. You really have to stick with them for a while to make sure they're working, because it's so easy to go chase the next best thing, right? I mean, I love that too. We all want that shiny magic penny, but it's never as shiny when you get there. Yeah. One of the things that was mentioned in planning, one of the other classes I did, I thought was an interesting weakness, was avoidance. You know, that can be a weakness for some people. And not being nimble, not being able to change quickly, because as you know, the market changes really quickly. And we saw that big change right in the middle of the year this year. And a lot of our clients were not nimble. They're not, we still have one that's still trying to get it through their head. And so, you know, that being able to change, I think, you know, not being nimble is definitely a weakness. And then also being able to do your lead generation and being disciplined. And you know, that can be a weakness. It can also be a strength. So it's come up before too. So let's talk about a little bit of opportunity here. One of the things that I believe is that we have a lot of opportunity because of where we live. Would you believe that? Colorado, we have prices that are higher, but we also are a destination location. We have, you know, state income tax that is deductible, but it helps keep our property taxes down. And Colorado also is a purple state, which I think can be a benefit because it's neither one way or the other. We can attract both. So I think that looking at some of the current, just the current landscape in the political scene, Colorado offers opportunity there as well. What are some of the other opportunities that you guys can identify in our current situation, our current market? I'm going to throw in there that eXp offers some amazing technology. I think that if you're not really learning it, and I'm still learning so much, but learning it and embracing the technology is an opportunity that we have. Anything else that you identify as an opportunity in your business? How about all the realtors that are going to leave the business because they're not surviving? You have to take over their share. That is opportunity in the market. When people are struggling, it usually narrows the market share. Or if you are long-term, you're a long-termer, it's a time to increase your market share. That's what happens. Because people leave the business, you take their market share, and then when the market expands, so does your business expand. It's a huge opportunity right now. So if you do know people that are leaving the business, find out what they're doing with their database and see if you can, make a transition to take care of their people. That's an opportunity. Okay, so anything else? Opportunities that you have? Just looking at the list, there have been so many that we've done lately, just in becoming really involved in the town of Erie and some of the things that we're doing, because we found that we need to build relationships. As more of our people have moved out of the state, it's time to grow with maybe some more people. So that's those local events and getting involved in your market area with whatever's going on is an opportunity. Do any of you do that? I know, Venus, you have several things you do with the charities and stuff.
I want to hear what Candace has to say. She raised her hand.
Oh, yeah.
Local events I feel like are a huge opportunity. I actually have 2 clients that I never knew until I met them at local events, and this is only my first year in. So my first year was 50% my sphere or VIPs and 50% gathered from local events or, being out there.
Awesome. Yes, it's a great opportunity. And so what part of town do you live in, Candace?
So I'm in Bennett, but I focus on finding homes with acreage for people along the corridor. So I'm part of the I-70 Chamber of Commerce and do events along anywhere from Watkins to Deer Trail.
Awesome. And so that's a great opportunity to support you too, for the people in our organization, because that's definitely a unique niche that you have Cool stuff. What about anybody else have something that you've noticed as an opportunity here?
I'll throw out investing.
Absolutely. I agree. It's a great opportunity, and to talk with those investors right now who haven't been able to get into the market. Are you
Well,
getting the text?
I'm getting into investing.
Are you? Cool.
I figured if
Well,
I
that's
don't have business where I'm putting my signs in the yard, I want to create my business to put my sign in the yard.
Well, you know, if you can get your sign in the yard and you're good at your follow-up, that can definitely be an opportunity to create some lead generation. Yeah, absolutely. What about any threats that we have here? Can you think of anything that is threatening our business right now?
Media.
Interest rates.
Media is always a threat, yes, because they don't know what's going on and they're always telling people the wrong thing. But okay, that we're in charge of straightening them out, right? That's an opportunity though. So what's another threat? Like interest rates, right? Are definitely a threat to our business. I was very happy to see that inflation was down 0.6 month over month this month. And that interest rates are following with a little easing up on there. But what about our focus? The focus of your business. Are you looking in the right places for business when business changes? So the internal part of your, I mean, I know we could call that a weakness too, but we can be a threat to ourselves if we're not willing to change, and that can be a weakness too. But definitely, you've got to, as it says here, can any of your weaknesses threaten your business? Absolutely, they can. And so being more disciplined during these times is something that we really have to do. And, you know, going into a recession, are you tight financially? Or do you know how you're going to make it through this next year? Because I was listening to Janet Yellen, who is, you know, just iconic when it comes to financial advice in our country. And she really expects that the economy is going to be just fine and that we're going to be in good shape by the end of 2023. I hope she's right. You know, we're going to make it through that. So what we have to do is make sure that we're spending our money and making those expenses responsible for results. So we need that rate of return on our investments. And so the time to go out and pay for the shiny new penny is not now, right? Now is the time to pick up the phone and do the things that we know really work for less money. Would you all agree that those are things to really think about as far as time management and lead generation and watching expenses going forward, and really looking at our opportunities we have with our technology and where we live, our state, and our lack of boundaries, and the things that our company gives us to thrive?
So I do this SWOT analysis every year because I have to as a workman coach.
Yay.
But what they ask us to do is to have 2 or 3 other people do it for us. So like I always have my coach do it. I have Steve do it. I've asked Kristen to do it for me. You know, your spouse, you know, maybe even each other, you know, now that you've gotten to know each other, and really, because it helps you kind of see things from a different outside perspective, and it's very helpful. So I'm happy to do, if you guys want, I'm happy to do one for you as well. But I think it's very helpful. And then going back to the threats, I just want to say one thing, and I don't want to talk too long, Heidi, because this is your training, but I was reading something in one of these little real estate mastermind things on Facebook, and it was really interesting. This guy was saying, how do I get more business? You know, I have all these leads, but how do I'm paying for all these leads. How do I get the business? And over people were saying, well, are you calling him? He's like, well, no, I have a great email campaign. I have a texting campaign. And people just kept saying, well, how many times are you calling him? Well, I'm only calling him if they respond. And he just wasn't getting it. They just kept saying, well, are you calling them? And his excuse every time was, no, I have all these great campaigns set up. And he just wasn't getting it. It was like they were trying to knock him over the head. you're paying for these leads, pick the phone and call them. Same thing with your top 50 or your, your elite 20, whatever it is you want to call them. Like, I know, Tiffany, you're really good about getting that face to face. And so it really is a contact sport, and a text and an email is not a contact. It's a drip. So I just wanted to put that there when you were talking about threats, because I think we are our own threat. We hide behind our systems, and I know, I've been guilty of it too. Like, I'm just going to let this run. And when they respond, I'll raise my hand. So I'm going to leave that there.
Is avoidance too, don't you?
Yeah, that's definitely avoidance. It's uncomfortable to pick up the phone and make phone calls.
Yeah, it is. Berkman has this book. I love this, the 8651. And the phone call is really important. But you're right. That is something that so many people try to circumvent with whatever videos, texts, emails. But what people really need to do is just talk to you, right? And you talk to them. So what are the reasons that people are afraid of phone calls?
Rejection.
I hear a lot. I don't want to bother people.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to be another sales, I don't want to be too salesy. Well, if you come from value, you're not being salesy.
Yeah, exactly. So what are some good things? Like, if you're going to make your calls today, what would be something that you could do that would bring value?
Ladies, I don't want to be the only one talking. Or answering, I guess, responding.
Well, what do people want to hear from you? Candace, you took your mute off. When you say something?
Yeah, we can let people know that there is more inventory on the market now than there was a few months back.
Absolutely. And if you have investors, that is an opportunity too, because there is more inventory, and there are some properties out there that they can actually pick up for a pretty good deal. And for buyers that have been in the market that they weren't able to win a contract, they can certainly win a contract now as long as they can qualify with the current rates. But even just right now, in calling and wishing somebody a Merry Christmas, and doing a little bit of the Ford talk, just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing. You're really important to me, and how are things? I mean, so that is something that I think people find value in, the relationship, because if we're always just asking for business and it's always the ask, then I think we start to be insincere. And so it is about the relationship. And with those top 50 people, hopefully every single one of them you can call and wish them a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or wherever they celebrate, right? If you have anybody on your top 50 list that you're afraid to call, they shouldn't be on your top 50 list. Yeah, those top 50 people have to all be your friends. They love you, trust you, want to do business with you. So, okay. So I just wanted to do a little, and I appreciate that. I would highly suggest that people do that. And I will take you up on that and talk with you about that, Venus, because I think that it's very easy to be blindsided by ourselves. Mm-hmm. And to just have those blind spots that people don't see. But strengths and opportunities, I just wanted to share some of this stuff. So the knowledge and the experience that we bring will help us to capture market share and move to the top. We have open boundaries and a destination location. It's an awesome strength and opportunity. We have also low overhead, and we can offer better client support and build our revenue share. There are so many things that we can do. And some of those things that you can outsource. So with time management being a problem, what can you take off your plate that Fiverr can do, or one of those other companies? So something to think about. Who helps you? Do you do everything yourself, or is there something that you can do that would be financially beneficial to leverage somebody else? Not to go out and hire somebody to do the things that you should be doing, but your time is valuable. And if you can spend more time in front of prospects, then what could you give to somebody else? I think that's really the point there. is that we don't need to outsource the important parts. It's the parts that we need support getting done. And I run into this quite often because people want to outsource their lead generation. And I just don't think you can do that. You have to make your phone calls. I think you have to do a lot of your own social posting and a lot of your own touches. Would you agree, everybody, on that?
Mostly
Because-
Kristen does a lot of our social posting, but
Yeah, but she's part of the team here.
yeah.
So, yeah,
You
I
need
mean, I
it.
don't.
You need to have your personality in your face, which we don't right now. We're just
Otherwise,
posting
people
posts.
know.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
otherwise it's static so, yeah.
How about video? Are you guys good at video? I know you are, Venus. You do so many video. I am striving to be better. But fun stuff. Okay. So let's go to the numbers part. Here's the part where we really track and we make a plan for going forward. And so and then the average sales price in 2022. I didn't use a average price of our market. When I did this, I used about 500 because there are plenty of properties out there above 500. There's also plenty below. Do you have your averages, Venus, what you did in 2022?
Yeah. Our sales for listings was 575 and our buyers was 525.
Okay, cool. Well, and so that I think is really realistic. Don't you? Somewhere in the fives for what average pricing is going to be going forward for next year too.
Yeah, for sure.
How about and we're all with the same company, so we can talk about this. Listing commission rates. Did you guys take a big hit on listing commissions this past year?
I try to stay with 6 as much as possible.
Yeah.
I'll do 5.8 when it's like a repeat or if they're buying another home. And when I do a listing presentation, I tell them I'm giving them a discount up front. So that already takes care of that conversation. And so we'll do 5.8.
That is what I think the majority of our we're between 5.6 and 5.8. So 2.8 and 2.8 is what we mostly had. We have fewer 6% listings than we have in the past, but I think we'll start to see a little bit more of that because we're going to be spending more time marketing. It's harder to get a higher listing commission when they fly off the shelf so fast. But if you're telling somebody you're going to be, marketing and spending, the funds it takes to actually market and promote a listing in a 4-month to 6-month period of time it's not chunk change. It's like $1,000 or more that you're spending up front to promote the listing. So as we have longer marketing times, I think we'll see a little bit of easing up on that the discount conversation.
I was
However,
shocked this weekend, Heidi. I showed 10 houses on Saturday, and I would say I think 7 of them were 2.5%. And I just feel like in this economy, you would want to incentivize the buyer's agent also, who's gonna, ultimately money talks, and it's unfortunate, but if somebody's offering a 3%, that buyer's agent is psychologically going to try to make that house look more appealing for the buyer. And I was shocked that so many of them are now cutting buyer agent commissions when they're wanting to attract these buyers and these buyers agents to be excited about attracting this home. I was really shocked.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that was a really major trend that we saw over the past couple of years, is going to a co-op of 2.5 versus the 2.8 that we've been seeing. And I agree with you that with more inventory, we're going to see a change in that. I mean, just in the discussions so far that we've had offering bonuses to agents, and you've seen what the builders have done, right? What Lennar was paying before, like 1%, and now they're like, oh, for a limited time, we're going to pay you.
Yeah.
And so even the builders are coming back. I think being conservative here, I honestly think of using a 2.8 and a 2.8 is probably going to be realistic for 2023. I hope not to see too many of those 2.5s, since people need to be a little more competitive to get their properties sold. And then I think average days on market, we're looking at about 60 days now. Would you agree?
Mhm.
Statistically, and don't count my listing in Erie. It doesn't count. I tell you, I wish it'd go away so bad. Anyway, it's just one of those things. So you guys can do the math as you go through this. I did it. I just did an example with a $250,000 income goal, and with 50% buyer closings and 50% seller closings, and just broke that down using the 2.8 average commission and the 500 sales price. And what that would actually mean is you'd have to have 9 buyer closings and 9 seller closings to earn a $250,000 income. Now, our goals are a little bit different because we want an icon. So we have 13 on each side. 13 buyer closings, 13 seller closings is what it's going to take to be an icon agent. So in this current market, using these current numbers. So I did that because I wanted it to be really obvious, because we talk about icon so much. If you want to icon, then it's going to be 26 closings, okay, in our current market using these numbers. And that, my friends, is not 250,000, that is 364,000. So that's a good goal, right? And so that's where I put my goal for this year. We have a goal of being an icon, and we put 2 under contract this last weekend. Thank God, finally.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was like, whoo, the floodgates have opened. So, and we're crazy busy. So that's really good. So the next part though are your pillars. And so, and Venus Uses Workman. This is an awesome book for anybody that hasn't read this book. This is a great book. And I think that it applies no matter who you're working with. And I'm a Buffini mentor, I'm a Tom Ferry mentor, and I go all the way back to, Danielle Kennedy and Tommy Hopkins. I really have seen all of these people because I've been doing this for 36 years now. But it really does boil down to the pillars, and you guys, it's the top 5 or top 50. That is really where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. So I recommend when you choose your pillars that be your number 1 pillar. And then you just have to fill in the blanks, what your pillars are going to be. And on this last one, actually, I just cross off the social media because it's actually included in the second pillar there. And it's anything else that you have. Your pillars are the things that you're going to focus on. One of our people put in a senior designation there, working with seniors. So it was going to be a pillar for them. So you choose, and then you just decide where you're going to put your efforts and where they're going to come from. And so, we're looking at 26 transactions. So we put half of those from our sphere, right? And we get a lot of referrals from other agents. So we put a lot there. We do a lot of events we put there. And then we're really leveraging the KV core, and we put some there too. So then once you allocate the 4 pillars that you really want to use, then you put together your plan, like exactly what you're going to do for each one of these areas. And so the top 50 plan is the one that I include in this business plan. And like I said, this is not all pretty yet, but it's functional. So that's why I'm giving it to you guys. But so if you just go through quarter by quarter and you fill in the blanks, if you're going to do pop buys, that's something that we all do. And our team, we provide 10 pop buys to our team members to help them get out there and get face-to-face with their people. We get more business when we're getting face-to-face and doing our pop buys than any other lead generation thing that we do. So that's why we do that. So, why you're going to call, why you're going to text, what you're going to pop by. If you're mailing anything, we've changed over to Boomerang again. Does anybody else use Boomerang?
I used to.
They're pretty good. They're doing great. I just learned to save money. I was spending $470 a month doing the item of value with Buffini, and I spend $180 a month doing the boomerang. And so this month was Jack's, next month is the Home and Garden Show. People actually like them. So, but you've got to get in front of people. And if the only thing you're doing is emailing or texting, unless you're calling and being really regular about your phone calls, you've got to get in front of them with snail mail too. The email that I have on here, that Keeping Current Matters, you know, I know you have that, Venus, and there's some really good stuff in there. So they say you should email monthly, and there's some great stuff in Keeping Current Matters if you don't have your own materials. We moved our charity to Charity of the Quarter instead of Charity of the Month, because it gives us a real opportunity to post and to get out there in the community. And so that's why I've included that in your plan. Client events and client parties. Do you guys have anything planned for next year for client parties? Are you thinking of stuff?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We have to lead with revenue, but we definitely want to.
So I'll tell you what our first client party is. This is going to be kind of fun. You know how we canceled the chili cook-off?
Yeah.
Well, we're doing a client party chili cook-off the weekend before Super Bowl. And our clients are going to be our judges.
That's awesome.
And so it's kind of a team chili cook-off, and our clients are our judges, and the winner gets a full pot of chili for Super Bowl.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
We have some Super Bowl baskets and some other fun stuff. So, you know, it's just one of our most successful client parties last year, which I'm happy to provide you any of the stuff if you want to try it. But it was the Girl Scout cookie and beer pairing event that we did. It was so fun. And the brewer had a lot of fun with it too. So I'm happy to share any of our stuff from that too, with the pairings. And we were able to really highlight one of our clients who had a Girl Scout. She was sort of our Girl Scout of honor at our event and stuff. So it was really fun. And if you have a brewery out in your area of town, the brewer usually will get involved and really help you with those pairings. So I'm happy to share any of that stuff if you guys decide you want to do it. Best time is really March, February, March. They quit selling the Girl Scout cookies mid-March. So you want to get it before then. Barbecues and other things. Any other ideas for client parties that you guys have done that turned out really successful?
I mean, we used to do a big one every year, but it was not cheap. And so we used to do whomever did business with us or referred us business. We did a dinner at Balistrary, and we were capped at about 25 to 30. So it was a wine tasting, and then it was like a buffet dinner, and it was just beautiful. And we would have a bunch of giveaways, but I mean, it cost us about $3,500, and we didn't have vendors or sponsors, which I recommend getting vendors and sponsors for events. And that was a big one. I almost always walked away with either a referral or another piece of business from that. We didn't do any real client events this year. We did a movie once, which movies are actually pretty reasonable, believe it or not. The biggest mistake that I made is I bought individual popcorn. I mean, you don't want to kind of like shank the movie company either, but we had little popcorn bags, and we were buying popcorn, and we were filling up the bags. If I would have bought the extra large, then we could have gotten free refills. But we just kept buying popcorn, and it was a mess. So I would never do it like that again. But we had a great time. Like we did Wonder Woman when Wonder Woman came out.
Oh,
so, and I think, movie theaters, it was like $100 or something. It was not very expensive at all.
that's cool.
Skating rinks are super cheap, I hear, but we haven't done that.
That would be fun. Although I'm not sure I could take that. I've injured myself too much. The Girl Scout cookie thing was pretty cheap. We did little 5-ounce pours, and we had 5 different cookies, so they got 25 ounces. So it was basically 2 beers a person. And it was, cool. I think we paid $10 a person is all.
Where did you do that at?
At Kokopelli.
Okay.
Yeah, but the brewer, I mean, they had fun with it, and they made these little sheets. It's their little 5-ounce pour was on the sheets, and we did, because of COVID, we packaged the cookies together, so each person had a little pack of cookies, just one for each thing though, so we didn't have to spend that much. But I think that it's even an opportunity maybe for us to do some things together. That could be good client events, because it's hard to do a really good client event cheaply. It's really hard.
Yeah.
I recommend also, when you look at client events and parties, some of those one-on-one, or, when you like host somebody over at your house for dinner or go have dinner with them, those can count too. So when you're doing those face-to-faces with your VIP people, like you might put, for January, you're going to have 3 dinners with people, or maybe 4 dinners with some of your favorite clients. So that can be a way that you can fill those into without having to do a big event. But the thing is, I think it's Tom Ferry that said, lunch, if they haven't bought from you before, dinner, if they have, is what it is. You don't do dinner if they haven't bought a house from you, in other words.
Yeah, you're only dating. You're not in bed yet.
Right. Yeah. And you only have lunch then, or coffee. Business mixers, we're having a tough time getting people to come, but we're still having fun with it. We do our Toys for Tots business mixer once a year, but we have to grow. There are so many people that have left the business. Have you noticed that? Like your vendors, and I mean, we need painters and handymen. So many of them have retired during COVID that we really need to build that team again.
So we have Kristen made a really great spreadsheet for our vendors. I think it would be helpful if we kind of like shared some of our top vendors.
I agree.
Because we don't have a painter either. We don't have a painter. I don't have a handyman. My handyman is so hard to get a hold of.
I will give you access to I just have it on a Google sheet, our vendors. Is that what you guys do too?
Yeah, if you want to share it, I could put them all together.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I mean, that'd be great. The thing is,
I
I don't
gotta
know.
be honest, Jen gave me most of them because I didn't know some of them, and then we added Venus's. So Jen's the one that helped me there.
Well, on our sheet, we also have the agent that brought them. So that could help if we were doing a mixer and we wouldn't necessarily, if you were not involved, then we would not include your people so that we didn't cross the line there. So that's something that, because with your vendors, you really should be your referral source for them, right? And so we don't want to take anything from each other. We want to support each other on those. Lumpy mail is just that, lumpy mail. I don't know. Does anybody do like Broncos schedules, Rocky schedules, calendars, that stuff?
Yeah, we did this one this year that had the Avs and the Broncos on it.
Oh, that's an awesome idea. I was at, where was I? I was somewhere looking at property, and it was an agent there. Oh, I was at the Erie Chamber of Commerce holiday party. And one of the agents up there, she was a RE/MAX agent. She had at the chamber, because you can put your stuff at the chamber. She had the local high schools on their little
that's cool
calendar that she did.
That's because Erie's huge with their high school football. That's where my boys went, is to Erie High School.
Oh, is it? Well, boy, that agent took the opportunity to make a special thing just for the school. I think
that's awesome.
That was probably really smart. That's cool. I love Erie. We've been doing a lot of fun stuff up there lately. It's been fun. Your video email message, if you're doing like a Happy New Year or something like that, additional marketing that you do, training that you do, like what classes are you going to take? Is everybody good for their continuing ed right now? So that's something that I'm really working on with Michael too. So he renews this year. So check your renewal, because audits are coming, and make sure that you have your credit in. But here's the way to plan it for next year if you don't renew.
Well, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know why my video is not on. I keep trying to hit it on and off, and it's not, but I am here. I think both me and Candace renew this year since we're year 1.
Okay, so you don't have any CE though. If you're just your first year, you don't
We had to do the annual. I thought we had to do the annual commission update.
No.
You should. You're not
You
required.
should, but you don't have to. When you asked, I told you that I would recommend it, but it wasn't required.
Well, yeah, I did it with Shelly when she did it through EXP.
Yeah.
Which I did notice she was gone. So yesterday at the Colorado brokers meeting. So now Todd is our main man.
Heidi, we told you that on Saturday.
I know, I do remember that, but I verified.
I didn't know what you remembered.
I actually do, which is amazing after losing that many hat games. that I actually remember everything.
Do you remember
Oh.
standing up and getting in the middle of the circle? Am I the only one that's wonky?
Yes, I do. I actually remember that.
That was
So,
my
like,
favorite part of the whole
just
night.
quit the hat game at that point, but it was fun. It was a really fun party.
I loved it.
And I'm just glad that we had a ride home. It was so fun. But so you guys have to go through and fill in the blanks on this stuff. And then I have included just where you can pull out the quarter so that you have it handy and you don't have to go to your business plan all the time. It's really super easy. Then the 16 touch, so a marketing plan for, like, if you're going to do any geographing, you look at those different pillars. Maybe they aren't something that you have to mail to all the time or do as big of a plan as you do up here, like for the sphere of influence. But if you're geographically farming, then you want them to hear from you in some way every month. And we like to include that lumpy mail with some of those other pillars too. So it's just a plan for you to be able to put together for the entire year. Here's some of the things that I wanted to bring up because we have so many opportunities with KV Core and some of the campaigns. And when we do campaigns, we can share them with each other on KV Core. So if somebody has a really great agent referral campaign, then that's awesome to share with our organization. And so I'm just getting to the point where I'm working on some of those. And I know that Venus and Kristen, you guys have special training and things for those campaigns that are beyond what I even have yet. So that's something that we might be able to get you guys to do some training on going forward. That would be so helpful. Some of these campaigns, we're doing some boosting and doing some of the campaigns, but what you can do for your entire database, and it's just amazing. So then I love this part. So we don't have 90 days till the first of the year, but over the next 90 days, what do you need to do? What do you need to delegate? And what do you need to dump and delete? So there are some things that we hang on to that we really could just get rid of. And, and that's making, mind clutter. So this is to help you unclutter your mind going forward to next year. And then on time management goals, time blocking is important. And if you look at where you're spending your time, just make sure you're not spending more than 50% of your time on the water. You got to spend 50% of your time on the things that matter. So big rocks and small rocks, it depends on who you're talking to. I know that Buffini calls the lead generation the big rock and the appointment the small rock. I think Tom Ferry's the other way around. I see them both as very important. You got to lead generate, you have to go on your appointment, and then you have to follow up on the details. And so many of the things we do, we spend time in errands and social media and email and administrative stuff that really isn't getting us any money or any benefit. And then our favorite part, we as agents, we always love numbers, right? Not some of us do, but I am not budgeting is not my favorite thing to do, but it's really important. And so the business plan just breaks down things that you've got to think about. What it doesn't have on here is, if you're paying your income taxes on a quarterly basis, it's on here, but you really have to consider like health insurance and things like that for income tax. Does everybody have a CPA to use?
Mhm.
Yeah. You really
I have
have.
one,
You
but
really
I'm getting a new one.
getting a new one.
Yeah, one who
Shopping
is
for one.
specific for real estate.
I would love that referral. I have one that we use, but he just does our taxes every year. I really want a new one too. So is that on your sheet?
Ours is not accepting any business. In fact, we are taking over our bookkeeping starting next year. Kristen is.
Oh, you're gonna do your taxes?
So no, I'm not doing our taxes. We're doing our own booking there. My business coach recommended.
I was gonna say, I didn't sign up for that.
No, we're switching from QuickBooks to, Kristen, what is it called?
Realty-Zam.
Realty-Zam. It is
Gotcha.
made for realtors. It's way cheaper than QuickBooks. And my bookkeeper wanted to start charging me $400 a month to do my books. And so RealtyZam is a really great solution if you want to do your own books. And then you just create the reports and send that to your, and it tracks per transaction too. So you put your
Oh, that's
transactions
cool.
in there, you assign what you're spending. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
So I mean, that's awesome. I actually have been using Quicken since 1993.
Wow.
And I've been through 2006, 7, and 8 IRS audits with Quicken printouts only. I didn't have to provide a single receipt. So that's another one that if somebody's just getting started, because it's not complicated like QuickBooks, but it does your entire, I mean, everything, and it'll do P&Ls and stuff too. So
Interesting. Didn't know
I
that.
was referred to QuickBooks, the online essentials, which had just been researching. I think it's like maybe $20 a month.
Hmm.
So you
It's
think the
just-
Realty Zam is,
We're
will
gonna
it
start
pull
using
in
RealtyZam.
huh?
We are gonna start using RealtyZam. We'll see. I mean,
well,
hopefully.
and so that I think is a really important part, and I'll probably switch over to something like that just for business. We use Quicken. I mean, it's everything. But if for the business, I think it's really good to have a separate thing. I agree. So you'll have to tell us more about that. And it's did I hear $20 a month?
For the QuickBooks? Yeah, that's what the,
Okay.
it
And
was
what
the
is
beginning.
Realty? The one that
Um,
you were talking about, Venus. How much is that?
It's
one?
something more like that, Heidi. I can send you guys a link of it. You get a free 30-day trial period, just to see if you like it or not. But I can send you guys the link.
It's
so
$10
you
a
can just-
month if you pay annually, or it's $12 a month if you're on month to month. So it'd be
Cool.
$120 for the year. I'm paying $89 a month for QuickBooks.
Oh, wow.
I pay $89 a year for Quicken, and I just download everything and then categorize it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to enter. Do you have to enter, or can you download?
I am trying to figure out how to connect my account.
Okay.
When I sign into my account, I sign into my personal account. My business account has its own login. I just don't know what it is because I just go into my personal and then
Mhm.
and so I need to figure out what my account login is, and then it pulls it just like QuickBooks.
That's awesome. We might want to do another training on that maybe sometime for people.
I was gonna send it in the chat, but when I got out of our Zoom to search it, I can't find you guys anywhere. So I can't see you. I can't put it in the chat, so I will email you. So I don't know where you guys are. If I click on my Zoom, it doesn't bring up the page like it should. But anyways, so I can't.
Well, I'm going
do
to stop
anything.
sharing. Maybe that'll help you see us. We see you. You look great.
Well, I still haven't done my hair or makeup today.
That's cool. Well, that is the business planning workbook. And so there are some things that you guys have to go in and fill in the blanks, but honestly, it pretty much covers every piece that you'll need for this year going forward. And what I would love to do is, as a follow-up, anyone that would like to go through the success wheel in a couple of coaching sessions, I'd love to do that with you. So just send me a note and we'll get set up. I would like to start doing those one-on-one sessions after Christmas. And so if you have any free time between Christmas and New Year's, or after the New Year, let's get scheduled and see if we can't just work on some areas that you want to see some change.
Thanks
Thank
for putting
you.
that together and sharing it with us, Heidi. I think it's very helpful. It kind of ties in some of the things that I've given them, but I've given it to them. Here's a piece here, 2 months later, here's a piece there, but really tie it in and how to successfully create a plan for your next year. And this was one of the most inclusive business plans that I've seen. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And thanks for being here. I'm really looking forward to a fantastic year. And I'm excited that you're going to get some revenue share from us soon.
Me too.
I know.
I'm just more excited that you're gonna be qualified. I just need one more to qualify. Come on.
Oh my gosh. Do you know that David's going to cap?
He is?
He is. He's going to cap this month.
Wow.
I know, and he's gonna have up until September of next year, cat. So
Wow.
Awesome.
pretty awesome. He was the toughest one to get over here, and he's just blowing it away.
I gotta get my front line open so I can actually get better revenue share off of your people. Oh, that's
Well,
fun.
hey, I met with remember Erin Larkin?
Yeah.
I met with her yesterday, and